welcome to another drawing video with me, Mrs. Shano. Today, I'm going to be teaching you how to draw crystals glistening in a cave. And it might look complicated, but it's way easier than you would think. We're going to be talking about a few elements of art that will make this art just fantastic. The first being form, and the next being value. Now we'll be using all of these elements of art when we make our work, but we're really going to focus on form, which is 3D shapes, and value, which is light to dark and all the shades in between of a color. So if you look at my crystals, they look like 3D shapes. They look like forms. We're using special angled lines to give the illusion that our flat drawing is a 3D shape. We are also using different values of each color to make that crystal look dimensional, deep, 3D, like it's reflecting light. And if you look, here's a green crystal, but I didn't just use one green. I used a variety of different values of green, light green to medium green to the darkest greens. And the same for each gem, each crystal here. I used multiple values to make that crystal look like a real crystal, because these 3D forms, they have all these different facets, which are the faces of the 3D shape, and they reflect light differently because they're at different angles. And when light is reflected differently, the color appears different too. So start thinking about what color crystals you might want. Maybe you want all warm colors like this work of art I made, or all cool colors like this work of art I made. Maybe you want rainbow of crystals here. Start thinking about it. But of course, we'll be starting our drawing with good old line. Whenever you're drawing on paper or on your computer, you're going to start with line. So grab your supplies. Without further ado, we are going to begin our art. So I'm going to start on clicking. I'm going to click this little white piece of paper, new image, and I want a portrait layout, not landscape. Landscape is side to side. We want a nice, tall, thin piece of paper. So turn your paper nice and tall, portrait layout, and let's start. If you're working on paper, I want you to go ahead and grab a ruler. We need lots of straight lines to make these crystals. If you're working on Clicky like me, we are going to use the straight line tool, which I'll show you how to use in a minute. Before we work with our straight lines, though, we want one lumpy, bumpy, rocky formation down here that our crystals are going to come out of. So grab your pencil or your pencil tool and go ahead and from the bottom make a nice bumpy, jagged, textured kind of hill. It's a rock, okay? So it does not have to be smooth. Go ahead, don't worry about it being perfect. Just don't come up too high. You don't want to come up way high because you want lots of room for those crystals here. All right, so we've got our rocky hill. Now it's time for some straight lines. You know, I'm going to put another row of rock here. I just want more. Ooh, just kicked my desk. Sorry, desk. So to get your straight line tool on Clicky, you're going to come up here where the brush is and click arrow down. If you're working on paper, grab your ruler and your pencil. I'm going to click shape, and then I'm selecting this line tool. The first crystal I want to draw is the tallest pointy crystal here in the middle. I don't want to go to the very top of my page. I want to leave a little bit of empty space, but I do want it to be very tall. So I'm going to come a bit down from the top, but still high up, and I'm going to make an upside down V shape. So 1 and 2, and then you're going to come down, but not perfectly straight. We don't want it to look like a house or a pencil. We're going to angle that line inwards a little bit. And then on the other side, come down from that point, come in a little bit. Again, not straight down like a house, angle it in a little bit. It kind of looks like a kite without being connected down here. We're not going to worry about the inside lines for our crystal yet. We will work on these later. Right now, we are working on that outside basic shape for our crystal, and I'm very happy with that shape. So you go ahead and finish up your shape and lines for your first tall, thin, pointy crystal. Now, the next crystals that I want to draw, I think I'm going to draw like a flat top, the way kind of a diamond ring looks at the top. Now, in real life, a lot of times crystals would not grow that way, but it's just so fun to draw a crystal shaped like a precious gem. So we are going to do two crystals that have a flat top off to the sides, but very, very tall, just like this first middle crystal. So I'm going to start over here. I'm not going to go as high as that first point. I want a variety of heights for my crystals. In real life, nothing grows in perfect rows, all exactly the same height. Nature's just not that way. So make sure you don't have everything lined up just right. So there's my line. I'm going to have another line coming down over and disappearing behind this crystal. I'm not going to keep drawing it. I want this one to be in front, so this guy will kind of disappear there. And then another line here. So I have up, over, and down. Now again, I want this crystal to seem like it's growing out of this rock formation here. So I'm going to take this line and I'm going to create another line connected to that coming on down at an angle, not straight down. We don't want it to be fat on the bottom. We want it to be narrow and thin on the bottom. We're going to angle that in right there. And this side would be hidden behind this crystal. So I'm going to leave that one alone. So there's the outline of crystal number 2. Now I want crystal number 3 over here. And I think I want, again, another flat top one, but I don't want it to be exactly the same as that crystal. I want it to be a little bit of a different thickness. So I'm going to go a little bit higher up, change the angle a smidge. Remember, we want variety in our artwork. You're going to put your line where you like it, and I'm going to make this guy a little skinnier. I'm going to change the angles a little bit. Play with the lines that make you happiest, guys. All right, and then down we go, in toward that rock. Make sure you connect it to the rock, and don't perch it right there. You want a little bit of overlapping shape. In real life, objects, those 3D objects overlap with other objects all the time. You would definitely have those crystals growing down into the middle of the rock, not perched on the very edge. Now, we've got our 3 crystals. Actually, you know what? I actually want to make one of these lines a little longer. I'm changing my artwork all the time too. I'm going to make that a little deeper. Boop. And down onto that rock. Now, we have all 3 of our crystals at this point. Before we continue and do the next row of crystals, I'm going to do a little bit of cleaning up with my drawing. I do have some erasing to do. If these 3 crystals are in front of this rock, you're not going to see that rock anymore. Again, we're thinking of space, which is an element of art. We're going to have overlapping shapes in this artwork, and those overlapping shapes give the illusion or the trick, the eye trick, that this is a 3D space, even though it's a 2D drawing. So I'm going to grab my paintbrush tool, click my eraser. If you're on paper, just grab your eraser and erase that rock where it overlaps with your first 3 crystals. Once we erase that rock, it will just look more realistic. Goodbye, goodbye, and goodbye. Now we will be erasing some of the bottoms of these crystals too when we put the next row, but I haven't drawn the next row yet, so I'm not doing any erasing yet. I don't know what shapes I'm putting yet. So back to my straight line tool, I'm going to click the shapes, straight line. For the next row, we're going to be drawing smaller crystals, not the smallest. We're going to do 3 rows, big, medium, and small. Beyond drawing the medium-sized, we also want a variety of crystals. We don't want 3, 3, and 3. That's boring, and it's not realistic. In real life, we talked about how nature, things grow every which way, different heights, different sizes, different amounts. We want variety. It just looks like real nature. So if you look here, I have 3, and then I did a row of 4, and then I did a row of 2, so that it's not all the same. I'm going to do the same thing in this work of art. I'm going to put 4 crystals now instead of 3. It will just be way more interesting. And I'm going to put, I could do all pointies, or maybe I'll put a flat one in there too. I haven't decided yet. I've done different things in my art. This one I only did 2 rows. So, I guess we'll see where this artwork takes me. I'm going to start with, you know what, I'm starting with a flat one over here. A medium size, actually a little higher up than that. A medium-sized flat topped crystal here. I'm going to put 1, 2, 3. Oopsies, he's not attached. Make sure all your lines are attached. 3, and then angle them in and connect to that rock. Make sure all your crystals are on the rock. Crystals, they do not float. So there's 1. And I'm going to put a little pointy one here. I'm going to put a really skinny, pointy crystal here. 1 and 2. And angle it in. And angle it in. Now you're seeing I'm getting a lot of overlapping lines. We will clean that up when we're done. Just focus on the basic shapes of your medium-sized crystals now. I'm going to put a fatter pointy one here now. Again, I'm thinking of variety. I want, what did I click? I don't want that tool. I'm going to put some skinny, some fat, some pointy, some flat. I made a rhyme. Oh boy. All right, so angling those in. And I think I'm going to put a smaller, skinny, pointy one over here, like a little guy back there. 1, 2, angle it in, and angle it in. Now, I've got 4 of my medium-sized crystals. It's time to clean up where they overlap so that I'm not confused later on in my drawing. So I'm going to go to my paintbrush tool, grab my eraser tool, and let's erase. Whether you're on paper or clicky, it's erasing time. Inside the medium-shaped crystals, you're going to erase any lines that remain inside that shape because this medium-sized crystal is in front of the big crystal and it's in front of the rock. So all you will see is that crystal. Erase everything inside that crystal. Goodbye to the side of the large crystal. You would be hidden. Oopsies, but I don't want to erase any of the lines on my medium crystal. Boop, boop. Goodbye to you. Goodbye to you. And now I'm going to erase what's inside this medium crystal. Goodbye to you. So work hard at erasing what you don't need on your drawing right now. The lines that we don't have here are just as important as the lines we keep. So erase carefully. Really think about your space. Goodbye to the rocks here. It's already looking 3D because of all my overlapping shapes. This is looking really cool. So again, I want another row. I have a big row, a medium row, I want a little row, and I want a different number. I have 3, I have 4, I think I'm going to put 2 now. You do not have to put the same number of crystals as me. Maybe you want to put 1 down there. Maybe you want to put a ton down there. Maybe you want to have one little guy just floating off over there. Play with what you think looks best on your artwork. You know your art best. I'm going to go back to my straight line tool, and I'm going to put a couple little crystals here. And I think I actually am going to put a little guy back there. I don't know yet, though. I'm going to put a flat little squat crystal. Squat's a funny word. A squat fat crystal right here. Boop. And, oh, this kind of lines up exactly. I don't know if I like that. Let's extend that a little lower. Oops. I don't like when my crystals line up exactly. I think that's boring. Boring. There we go. So 1 crystal in front. I'm going to put, actually, I changed my mind. Instead of 2, I'm going to put 3 down here and a 4th off to the side. I'm going to put another little skinny guy here. Again, put what you want in your drawing. Don't make yours exactly the same as mine. We're different people. We're different artists. We might have different ideas. So 1 and 2 here. I don't want to put 1 here. I'm going to leave that an empty space for now. And I'm going to put a little guy back here. A little baby. A little straggler off in the distance. Actually, I'll have him coming out from this row. Boop. Oh, he's so cute. It's eraser time, and I'm almost done with the outlines of my drawing. I'm going to erase what's inside this crystal. He's in the front. All the little guys are up in the front row, so we want to erase everything inside those little crystals. Goodbye to that line, goodbye to this line, and that line, and this line. I'm trying to be very careful. We don't want to erase what we still want. Goodbye to this line. And now I need to make a really tiny, very careful eraser tool here. Okay, this is looking really nice now. So before I put all of the lines inside my crystals, all of these facets and angles to make it look like a 3D form, I want to put another little bumpy row of the rock in front of the crystals down here. These crystals are growing out of the rock, so it's going to look jagged and rough and bumpy at the bottom of those crystals. So I'm back on my brush tool, and if you're on paper, grab your pencil, and you're just going to have fun, bring a nice bumpy line up to the bottoms of every crystal that is open down there. Put a bumpy, rocky line so it looks like that crystal is just growing out of the rock. And then go ahead, have fun with putting some texture on the rock. Texture in art is making it look like your art feels a certain way, because texture in real life is how something feels. We know that rocks are rough, they're bumpy, they're angular, so we want to use line to show that texture. So have fun putting some little bumpy little dots, wavy bumpy lines to show that texture on your rocks. There we go. We are getting close to being finished with this drawing. Alrighty, so we've got all of the outlines for our crystals. We've erased where they're overlapping. We've got the rock. We've got the front of the rock in front of the crystals. It's time to go back to using a ruler or the straight line tool, because we will be drawing the angled lines that make these crystals look like 3D forms. Woohoo, form time. So it's easier than you'd think. Let's start with all the pointy crystals. Those are the easiest by far. You're either going to go angle down, angle up like a V, or you're going to go up and down. Either way, it doesn't matter. As long as you go up and then down, or down and then up, as long as there's a point in the middle, that will be a perfect starting point for making your pointy crystals. So go ahead and put your little V shapes or your upside down V shapes connecting those points. So you're looking for the angle here. Here's the angle on the side. You're going to start there, down, up, find that angle, or up, down to that angle. I'm going down, up. I'm going to do another up, down. I made a pattern, but I didn't even really intend to. And then a little, this one looks like a pencil, it's so skinny. All right, so I've got all of those. Now, the next thing to do on your pointy crystals is to do the vertical or up and down lines on them. So you're going to grab your straight line tool or your ruler, and you're going to connect those angles. So you're going to start at that vertice and go to that vertice. Connect. It looks like a pyramid. You learned how to make a pyramid. Down, up. So you had like a triangle shape at the top, upside down V. Boop, boop. Connect those dots. And then for the tall, skinny part, you're just going to go from that bottom corner and go down until you can't go anymore. So I'm hitting this shape now. I wouldn't keep going because I wouldn't see that line. It would disappear behind that crystal. So I'm going to stop right there. Bam. And I'm going to do that with all my other pointy crystals now. So I'm going to connect point to point, point down till I can't go anymore. And it can be a little bit over. It can be a little bit this way. Just feel out where you think that angle looks best. There we go. And down to the bottom. Connect those points and then connect on down till you can't go anymore. And I'm actually going to make my line width a little smaller for this guy because he's so tiny. Maybe you made a tiny one like me, maybe you didn't. Oh my goodness, look at those crystals. They're beautiful. They look like pencils right now, but they won't once we add color. Now, to my flat-topped crystals. You know how we went up, over and down on the top, we're going to do the same thing but opposite for the side of this crystal. So we're going to start at this point. We're going to go down, over, and then I would have gone up, but I'm running out of room. I'll put a tiny little up. Boop. There we go. So down, over, and up. Down, over, and up. They look like hexagons that are squished. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides is a hexagon. Down, over, and up. Connecting those corners, those angles are very important. Pay attention to those angles. Down, over, and up. So, as you can see, I have those lines on my drawings here too. Down, over, up. Down, over, up. Now, the next part looks really complicated, but it's really not as hard as you'd think. We're going to make a W. You're going to start at this corner, connect the dot to the next corner, and then up to the middle, down to that angle, into that corner, and whoopsies, I clicked the wrong thing, and then up to that dot. So look, it makes a W. W, connecting those dots. So follow the rule of the W, down to the corner, corner to corner, up to the middle, corner to corner, or middle to corner, and corner to corner. And it makes a W. There's that W. So go ahead on all your flat crystals, make the W, connecting the corner to corner, corner to middle, middle to corner, corner to corner. There's the W, corner to corner, corner to middle, middle to corner, corner to corner. Look at all those W's. And now, oh, I missed you. I almost lost you. Let's put that little W there. Middle to corner and corner to corner. Now I just need to worry about my vertical or up and down lines. So again, I'm going to look for those corners and I'm going to put straight lines coming down. So here's a corner. I'm going to come down till I can't go anymore. I'm stopping when I hit another shape. Same thing here. Boop. Here's a corner, coming down till I bump into a shape. Here's a corner, coming on down until I reach a shape. Done. So go ahead, put all your vertical lines on your crystals. We're almost done with our drawing, guys. This is super exciting. Then we get to talk about color. At this point, you should be thinking about what color scheme you want for your art. Are you going to do all cool colors for your crystals? Greens, blues, and purples. Are you going to do all warm colors? Reds, oranges, and yellows. Are you going to do a rainbow of crystals? Are you going to do all crystals in one color family, like all reds, like rubies, all greens, like emeralds, all blues, like sapphires? You're the artist. Start thinking about that. But we will be using value when it is time to color. Remember, value is the lightest light to the darkest dark and all the shades in between of that color. So I am officially done with my drawing and now I get to add color. I'm excited. So again, here are some different ideas. These are different drawings I made with e-learning classes. Whee! So many. Go away. I don't want to update my computer. All right, so, oh boy, what am I going to do today? I'm feeling emeralds today. Green is my favorite color, so I'm going to do all greens and greenish blue stones. But first, I'm going to pick a deep, dark purple for the back of my cave. I want my stones to really pop, so I'm going to make a very dark background, and I'm going to pick like a really light stone color. I'm going to pick that light gray for the stones back here. Oops, and I missed a spot. That would be purple too. All right, so if you're not on Clicky, if you're on paper, obviously it will take you longer to color, but take your time. Have fun with this, friends. I'm going to go ahead now and pick different values of green for my stones. So I'm going to start with some light greens on this big boy here. And I went down to a deeper color and a deeper color. Look at that. I've got all different values of greens to make that stone look more 3D. I'm going to make more of a blue-green stone over here. Hopping all around this little rectangle to find different values for my stone. Beautiful. Maybe like a yellow-green. Super fun. I'm going to color really, really quickly, guys, so that this video isn't 2 hours long. But I think you're getting the picture of how fun it is to select the colors and the values for your drawing. I'm going to make that even lighter. Let's see, I'm going to go more to blues. I know I said I'm going to do all greens, but I'm going to do blues now. I'm changing my mind while I'm creating my art. I'm allowed to do that. That's what artists do sometimes. I'm going to put another blue-ish stone over here. I'm going to do another lime greeny yellow one here. Different values, light and dark, and in between. There we go. I'm going to do a super yellow-green one. Looks like a lemon. Somewhere between a lemon and a lime. And I'm going to make this guy that color too. I like how I say this guy, like it's a boy crystal or a girl crystal. It is a rock, Mrs. Shano. It does not have a gender. Let's see. I want another teal guy. I like that teal crystal. Boop, boop, boop. Different values to make it look more 3D. It's going to look awesome. Oh, I want another yellow guy. This little baby over here, he's going to be this lime greeny yellow kind of crystal. Ah! I might need to zoom in for this tiny guy. Let's try that again. It's just so tiny. It doesn't want to color. Boop. And boop. Alrighty. Oh, and I missed a spot here. So definitely look around your art. Make sure you've got all of your art colored in how you like. And now it's just time for a couple little finishing touches, friends. Maybe I want to put some white highlights on here, like it's reflecting light like a real gem. Shine, shine, shine. Crystals would definitely sparkle if you shined a light on them in a dark cave. So I'm going to put a few little white highlights on my crystals. Boom, boom, boom. Inside those facets or faces on my forms, my 3D shapes. And you don't have to do this step. It's just, to me, it's one little detail that just makes my art really pop. I love a good highlight on a finished work of art. And they're easy to do highlights. You've already got the shapes. You've already got the color. It's just, you're just following the shapes you already have. Maybe you're going to put some little embellishment lines like they're shining into the darkness. Boo, 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 doo, doo, doo. And there is my beautiful crystal work of art where I focused on form and value to create a really fun piece. I hope you had a great time making this with me. I had a great time making this, as you can tell, since I made 5. 1, 2, 3, yes, I made 5. So I hope you had fun. I hope you finish this one up. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!